Okay, guys, welcome back to the video. This video is going to be about how I personally start a SaaS business from scratch using GoHighLevel. Okay, so no coding, no agency chaos, just recurring revenue. All right, so let's jump right in. So most people, right, when they try to start a business, they basically try to start it the hard way, right? They try to reinvent the wheel, right? Invent a new product, right? This is our kind of natural instincts initially when we, want to get into business, start a business, right? Building a software from scratch. Again, it can be a software, it can be a product, but building something from scratch. Then you kind of run down the rabbit hole of learning ads and funnels and sales and delivery, which are, all important things, but initially people kind of overthink these things, right? And then before a product it gets even launched, they quit, right? Become too overwhelmed, don't know where to start, how to go about things, what's working, what's not working. Basically, having the kind of foundation of how to get into business, how to start a business, how to start a SaaS product, right? So, basically, what we're going to be covering is you do not need to build software, right? You need to deliver it through a platform, charge monthly, keep it simple, sell a system, right? People love systems. So, you create a product, you want to sell it not as a product, right? You don't want to sell it as like, hey, I have this new shiny thing. You want to sell a system, right? Showing a customer how to get from point A to point B, right? A SaaS business is literally just a subscription that solves one painful problem for one type of customer with repeatable delivery. Okay. That's all a SaaS business is, right? Don't overthink it. It's a subscription that solves one problem for one type of customer with a repeatable process of delivery. Okay. Why GoHighLevel is the cheat code? Well, HighLevel basically lets you launch a SaaS product without having to, hire developers, have a developer background, basically have an MVP, right? A most viable product ready to launch at your fingertips, right? You have a CRM that you could sell, funnels and websites, automation and follow-up, SMS and email, pipelines and calendars, AI tools, and basically you can resell these features. These are what most SaaS products and companies kind of revolve around, right? What is the business model? Okay, here is the model that I currently run and how I would, kind of, if I was starting from scratch again, what I would kind of try to get to, right? Pick a niche, okay? Build a done for you system inside of your GoHighLevel version, right? Your GoHighLevel account. Sell it as a subscription and then keep the need for fulfillment minimal, meaning don't do custom projects, right? Have a system, sell the system, and sell it over and over and over again, right? Okay, step number one. What do we do? Well, pick a niche, okay? Most people get this wrong. They try to serve everybody. They try to be the jack of all trades, right? Because you're basically desperate for business, right? So you'll, serve everybody that's willing to, give you their credit card or sign up with your product, right? But it's very important that you pick a niche and stick to that niche because then you become basically the expert in that industry, right? You become that go-to person that is able to offer a specific product or service or solution for somebody's pain point, right? So pick a niche with money, right? Pick a niche with urgency, pick a niche with repeat business, right? It's not just a one and done kind of sale in your customers business. High lifetime value, meaning, your customer's customer brings them a lot of money, and then in turn that kind of trickles down into you, right? And then a phone that needs to ring, right? Industries that are kind of sales heavy, right? They're not kind of like I mentioned, one and done type of sales situations, but they like their phones ringing and new leads and things like that. So some examples are roofing, right? Roof replacement companies, HVAC companies, med spas, dentists, lawyers, right? All of the most common thing among these industries is one, they're sales heavy, right? They're always looking for new leads. They're always looking for new opportunities on generating new business. They sell high ticket products, right? Over $1,000, over $2,000, right? And they're able to scale, right? Roofing companies have a lot of employees. Roofing companies have a lot of salespeople. Same thing with HVAC companies. Med spas and dentists and lawyers, right? They're able to grow their organizations as well. They're not necessarily one man shops, right? Pick one pain point, right? You don't sell marketing, you sell one outcome, right? Let's say, for example, your customer wants, has calls that are happening, right? And they're not getting back to those calls, or they're not able to pick up those calls right away, right? So like one example that you could sell, or become kind of, the ultimate product for, let's say in the roofing industry, is missed call text back, right? Your GoHighLevel software is built around specifically missed call text backs, right? Some more examples, you can kind of go about structuring your GoHighLevel is lead follow-up and automation, right? Appointment booking, review generation, reactivation campaigns. But it's very important that you sell one outcome, right? My GoHighLevel account, my system helps my customers get from point A to point B with this one thing, right? Sell X to get Y, right? That's how you kind of want to position your offer and position your high level. Don't serve everybody, and you can give them this and this and this and this, because they don't end up using it, and it's more work for you to fulfill on that, right? If you want to sell additional services, then you sell those as upsells later on, right? But create one product, one service, one outcome that your software is going to do for your customers, and fulfill on that right away, right? Step 3, build the offer, right? Your SaaS offer should basically feel like your customer comes in, they plug this thing into their business, and their business runs better instantly, right? You want to be able to create a product that basically gives some sort of instant gratification to your customer. Why? Because it basically gives them a win off the rip, where now they're more comfortable with continuing to pay for your product and service, right? You don't want customers coming in for just 1 month, right? You don't want them coming in for just 2 or 3 months. You want them coming in for 1, 2, 3, 10, 12, 16, 18 months, right? That's how this game is played, right? Creating a product that's actually sticky, where you have very little churn, and you have basically repeat customers coming in month over month over month, right? You're earning their business, right? So as long as you can earn your customers' business every month, you have a very good chance of having a successful business, right? So you want to include things like automations, maybe pipelines, maybe templates, maybe follow-ups, maybe tracking, right? Quick wins, quick, setups, quick installs, for your customers to kind of see results right away. Okay. Step number 4, productized delivery. Okay. This is very, 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 very important. It's a lot of people kind of initially, right? You want productized delivery, but you kind of get into this trap or this rabbit hole of, your customers, wanting this and wanting that. And you kind of just end up going to do it, and you're customizing that for them and customizing that for them, because you don't want to lose the customer, right? You're operating from a, initially, kind of desperation, right? You're just getting started. You want your customers to stick around so you can make money, make them happy. But it's very important that you productize the delivery, right? So instead of custom work, you want to have snapshots, right? Something that you set up once and it upload into your new customers' accounts right away, right when they sign up. Onboarding checklists. So you're not doing the servicing for your clients and setting up their account for them, but they have a step-by-step process on how to get from, again, point A to point B. They know how to set up their account, right? It's not that customers don't want to set up their own things. They would rather control their own things. But if you don't give them a way to understand how to do it, or a checklist of like, hey, start here, do this and this and this and this and this, they don't know how to get to, the outcome, right? So it's very important that you set up a, onboarding checklist for your customers when they come in, and again, it's going to be custom to you. What is your product? What is your, your solution for them? So make sure your checklist is primarily revolves around getting that solution, right away, right? Or their outcome right away. Don't make it, over the top, and you can do this and set up that. Like, try to condense it, right? You can also, maybe a 30 to 60-minute setup call, right? Optional. And I would really even do those in a group style, not one-to-one, right? Host those maybe once a week, so that the rest of the week, you're selling, you're bringing on new users, and then once per week, maybe an hour or two out of the whole week, you do a group onboarding. So all your users that you sign that week are kind of, getting on board at the same time, right? Think of it as like classes, right? You have, a class every week, and your customers are part of that class that they're getting onboarded into the system, right? Templates, preloaded templates. And then again, very simple support system, whether that's an internal chat widget that customers can, opt into and reach out to somebody live, or AI chat widgets, or, a group community, right? Via school or Facebook groups, right? Creating a community for your SaaS users that, instead of having to call you or schedule a Zoom call and they have a quick question, they just throw it in the community. Hey, I have this question. Hey, I need some help with that. And you can kind of, ping them back, when you can or see it. Step 5, price it like a real business, right? Keep the pricing simple. There's, you could have multiple options here, option A or option B, right? Maybe lower tiered option, higher tiered option, starter premium. So option A between, you want to have your base plan between 97 and 297 a month, right? That's your starter plan. And then option B for your more premium clients or customers or, users, have an option B, right? It's the more premium plan, but it also includes this, and this in addition to what's included in option A, right? And you want to price those between $497 to $997 a month, right? And then obviously optional, right? Have a setup fee where, if customers do want that one-to-one support on the initial setup, you charge for that, right? Obviously, you don't want to be doing this for free. And your customers are very, they're willing to pay it, right? If they know they're getting one-to-one support, they know that's, your time isn't free, their time isn't free. So they'll pay for it. So these are the kind of the pricing options that I would, propose. You kind of start your SaaS plans out with, right? The key to low churn, okay, and this is really the game that you're trying to play with SaaS. It's sales, right? Bringing on users, but then, okay, keeping those users on as long as possible, right? And the key really is kind of what I was saying before is if your users aren't getting wins fast enough, they're going to cancel. Okay. So if your user isn't getting a win within that first, let's say 1 to 5 days internally in their accounts and they're not using their account, it's not that you have a bad product. It just means your users aren't getting to the steps where they can see the value in the first 1 to 5 days, right? So you fix that by if you see your users aren't activating their accounts, okay, well, force onboarding calls, right? Make sure every new user that you sign up is required to go and set up and book an onboarding call. And don't even wait on them to book it. You book it yourself after you get the sale, right? It's like, hey, great, thank you for the business. Let's go ahead and get your onboarding booked, onboarding call booked. We have availability Wednesday at 1 p.m. This is a group onboarding, so you'll be with all, other, users, and have it forced that way, right? Making sure that the product delivers a win day one, right? Whether that's off of the initial setup or off of the activation of whatever the product or service is, it's very fast deliverables and wins. Okay. Reduce complexity. Again, HighLevel is a very powerful system and tool, right? There's a million and one things you could do with the product and a million and one different services you could sell or features you could sell. But again, narrow in on one, right? Narrow in on one and really optimize and create the best product for that one outcome, right? So again, reducing the complexity is not saying, hey, you can do this and this and this and this and this, but it's like, hey, focus on this one thing. This is what we want to make sure that you're doing right away. And have your onboardings really revolve around that. Your academies or onboarding checklists revolve around that one outcome, right? You give them a simple path, get them from point A to point B as fast as possible, right? What I would sell first, if I was starting from zero today, the number one thing that I would personally sell is the missed call, text back, and booking appointment. Why? Because it's very easy to explain. It's easy to demo. There's a very obvious ROI for your customers, and it works in every niche, right? Missed call, text back is basically somebody calls your customer's phone, they don't answer, they see a missed call on their phone, and then there's no outbound happening to that lead, right? And it's basically this game, for your customers, it's speed to lead, right? So missed call, text back, what happens now if you set it up is your customer has a missed call, and then what happens? A text gets sent to that lead right away if that call isn't answered, right? So that continued communication can be happening, right away, and then obviously booking automation, pushing that lead to go and book an appointment on your customer's calendar, right? So now you've basically taken them from like, hey, you have missed calls, so now it's like, hey, you have missed calls, we're reaching out to them, our system is texting them on your behalf, and then pushing for an appointment book right away, right? How'd I get my first customers? I do one of these three, okay? Cold Loom outreach. Okay. Loom, whether you're going on their websites or their Google My Business, making a Loom video customized for them and their business, and, emailing it. Hey, here's what your business is missing. Here's our product. Here's how that, our product can kind of solve what you're missing. Right. Number two would be Facebook groups, right? Find niche specific Facebook groups, local business groups that you're kind of trying to service. And DM, the people in that community, or make posts in that community about your specific product or service. Hey, for the first 20 users, or 20 new customers from this group, we're offering this promo. If you guys are interested, go ahead and book a demo on my calendar. Here's the booking link, right? Simple posts like that. Short form content, right? Posting on socials, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, niche specific short form content, daily tips, proof and screenshots of results you're getting for existing clients or customers or users, right? The three things that make this work, okay? The model works when you have, number one, a very clear niche, okay? Number two, a very clear offer, okay? We help X niche produce Y results in, Z amount of time, right? Or whatever it is. And then a very simple onboarding path, right? Again, don't overwhelm your users. They just paid you, or they're trialing, and they want to see the product work, right? They want to see the system work for them, and basically do what you just sold them on. So, a very simple onboarding path, get them from point A to point B is the key here, to make sure they're seeing wins right away. And you don't want to sell everything to everyone. You don't want to be the jack of all trades. You specialize in this one specific result for this specific type of customer, right? The biggest mistake people make, they try to sell GoHighLevel. You're not selling GoHighLevel. You're selling your version of GoHighLevel. Nobody wants GoHighLevel. Nobody wants 1,000,001 different features to use and learn and understand how to implement and integrate and all these crazy things, right? So you don't sell GoHighLevel. You sell your version of GoHighLevel, and it's one specific feature, right? Again, whether that's missed call text back, or pipelines, or automations, or reviews, right? GoHighLevel gives you the tools to sell. Now go sell one of them and become the expert in that one specific thing, right? Or become the go-to person in that one specific feature, or system, or whatever it is, right? People want more leads. They want faster follow-up. They want more booked appointments. They want less chaos, more revenue, right? People don't want automations. What do automations do? Well, they get you more booked appointments. What do automations do? Well, they get you faster follow-ups. So what do automations do? Well, they get you more leads, right? So you don't sell automations, you sell the result that the automations creates, okay? The real opportunity, the opportunity is not starting a SaaS. The opportunity is starting a small subscription-based business that spits recurring revenue, predictable cash flow, with a repeatable system that compounds monthly and does not require a big team, okay? The bigger your team does not mean the more money you make. More money, right? More people, more problems, right? It's keep it lean, keep it simple. I promise you, I've been in both ends of it, and it's very overwhelming having to manage a lot of people. And it's very rewarding having to only manage a couple, people, have one or two or three maybe solid team members, part of your company or your operations, and you make the most amount of money, right? The more people you have, the more you have to pay them. What happens with that? It eats at your margins. You're less profitable, right? Versus you flip it to the other way. The less people you have, the more profitable you have, the more profitability you have, the less chaos you have, the happier you are, right? The point of business is not to work 1,000,001 hours. The point of business is to have a product or a software or a service, some sort of an operation that is going to require the least amount of time from your end with the most amount of profit on that it spits out, right? So the fastest way to start with a HighLevel Bootcamp, right? Learn the platform, learn the SaaS model, learn how to package and sell it, stop guessing, dive in, right? You guys can go and start with the HighLevel Bootcamp here. I'll put the URL down below in the description. You'll be able to build your SaaS, launch faster, skip the trial and error. With the bootcamp, you get a 30-day free trial. And again, they host trainings every week for the boot camp where you're able to actually talk to people that are in the industry, talk to people that are just getting started, and kind of understand more fundamentally how to kind of go about this. Okay, guys. Thank you for your time. Go ahead, please be sure to subscribe down below. Hope this was valuable. Let me know in the comments if this was valuable to you guys, and I'll continue making these if you guys want me to. Okay, we'll see you guys in the next one. And again, you don't need a startup, right? This isn't about creating a startup. You need a system and subscriptions, and pick a niche, pick one pain, build a simple SaaS, sell it monthly. Okay, guys, we'll see you in the next one.